Janet Stone is a retired teacher in Ormond Beach, Florida. She told her local news station, WKMG News 6, that she and her husband don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting around waiting to be spent. But that's exactly what their condo association asked for. Their building, Surfside Club South, hit residents with a special assessment of over $100,000 per unit. Her words were simple. It put me in a position where I needed to return to work. That's the story playing out across Florida right now, in buildings up and down the coast. And today I want to walk you through exactly why it's happening, what the actual numbers look like as of this month, and why it's specifically hitting retirees the hardest. So here's the plain version of the situation before we get into the numbers. For years, Florida was the classic retirement plan. No state income tax, warm weather, and a beachfront condo you bought decades ago for a fraction of what it's worth today. That part hasn't changed. What's changed is the cost of keeping that condo standing and insured. Two things are colliding at the same time. One is a set of new state safety laws for older condo buildings. The other is the state's ongoing insurance mess, which is finally starting to improve but not fast enough to undo years of damage. Put those two things together, and you get retirees who own their home outright, have no mortgage, and are still being forced to sell.
Let's go back to where this actually started, because it matters. On June 24, 2021, a 12-story condo building called Champlain Towers South collapsed in Surfside, Florida in the middle of the night. 98 people died. Investigators later found the building had known structural problems that were never fixed. In response, Florida lawmakers passed a law, generally referred to as Senate Bill 4D, requiring condo buildings 3 stories or taller to get a professional structural inspection once they hit 30 years old, and to actually fund their repair reserves instead of voting to skip that funding, which many buildings had done for years to keep monthly fees low. Here's the part that matters for this story. As of January 1, 2026, the grace period on that reserve requirement officially ended. Boards can no longer vote to waive saving for major structural repairs. If a building's reserve account doesn't have the money, and most of them don't, the association is now required to collect it immediately from owners. That's what a special assessment is. It isn't optional and it isn't small. A recent industry study found that close to 27% of Florida condo associations are considered critically underfunded, meaning they have less than 30% of the reserve money they're supposed to have on hand. In cities like Hollywood and Hallandale Beach, owners of one-bedroom units have reportedly been billed $40,000 to $50,000 each. In some larger buildings, assessments have run past $130,000 per unit. And on top of that, regular monthly HOA fees have climbed too. Some South Florida condo associations are now charging close to $1,900 a month, and that's before the mortgage or the assessment.
This is also making these units harder to sell, which traps owners even further. According to reporting on brokerage data from ISG World, nearly 1,400 Florida condo buildings are currently blocked from getting conventional mortgage financing because they haven't completed the required inspections or reserve studies. If a building is on that list, most buyers can't get a loan to purchase a unit in it, even if they want to. That shrinks the buyer pool down to cash buyers only, and cash buyers know they have leverage, so they negotiate hard or walk away. So picture the position a lot of retirees are in right now. They own their unit outright. They're on a fixed income. They get hit with a 6-figure assessment bill. And when they try to sell to cover it, they find out their own building is scaring off half the buyers who'd normally be interested. That's not a hypothetical. That's the exact situation Florida realtors and local news outlets have been documenting, building by building, since the start of this year. Now, here's a piece of this story that's genuinely changed in the last few months, and it's worth explaining clearly because it cuts against the doom and gloom narrative a little. On July 1st of this year, Citizens Property Insurance, which is Florida's state-backed insurer of last resort, cut its rates. Multi-peril policies dropped an average of 8.8%, wind-only policies dropped about 5.5%, and some counties in South Florida, including Miami-Dade and Broward, saw cuts as high as 14%. This is the first broad rate decrease Citizens has issued since 2015. Why? Florida passed tort reforms in 2022 and 2023 that cut down on lawsuit abuse tied to insurance claims, and that's brought 17 new private insurance companies into the state. Citizens' own policy count has fallen from a peak of 1.42 million policies back in October 2023 down to roughly 385,000 by the start of this year. People are leaving the state backstop and going back to private insurers, which regulators consider a healthy sign. But, and this is important, Florida homeowners insurance is still expensive by any normal standard. Depending on which data source you look at, the average annual premium in Florida is somewhere between about $5,800 and $8,400 a year, which is still multiple times the national average. A rate cut of 8 or 9% helps. It doesn't undo a decade of increases.
Zooming out to the housing market itself, it's actually not collapsing. Florida realtors reported that as of June 2026, the state extended its year-over-year sales growth streak to 10 straight months, with closed sales, pending sales, and median prices all rising in both the single-family and condo townhouse categories. In the second quarter of this year, single-family home sales were up 4.1% year-over-year, and condo townhouse sales were up 9%. The statewide median single-family price is sitting around $425,000, up a modest couple of percent from last year. Inventory has grown too. Most major Florida metros now have more homes for sale than they did before the pandemic, with Miami being the one exception, still running tight, according to ICE Mortgage Technology's July 2026 report. So the single-family market is holding up reasonably well. The story here isn't Florida real estate is crashing. The story is specifically about older coastal condo buildings and the retirees who live in them. Here's why this lands so hard on older residents in particular, and it's not just about the assessment bill itself. Recent federal labor data cited by Pew Research shows nearly 1 in 5 Americans aged 65 and older is now working or actively looking for work, the highest share in decades. The average Social Security check in 2026 is around $2,071 a month, but the typical baseline monthly spending for a single adult, according to SoFi Bank, runs closer to $4,641 a month before you even add in a surprise assessment bill. That gap is already forcing people back into jobs. Add a 5 or 6-figure special assessment on top of it, and selling stops being a preference. It becomes the only workable option. In Central Florida specifically, Resume Builder data shows the share of retirement-age people still in the workforce jumped from about 5% in 2020 to around 22% by 2024, and local reporting suggests that trend has only continued into this year.
So to bring it all together, the condo safety law came from a real tragedy, and nobody's really arguing the inspections shouldn't happen. The problem is, the bill for decades of underfunded reserves is landing all at once, right as retirees are already stretched by insurance costs and everyday inflation. Insurance is actually improving a bit this year, which is good news buried inside a hard story. But for owners like Janet Stone, that improvement came a little too late to change what already happened to her. If you're watching this because you own a Florida condo or you're thinking about buying one, the one document worth asking for before anything else is the Building's Structural Integrity Reserve Study. It will tell you in plain numbers whether a bill like this is coming your way next. That's where things stand as of the end of July 2026. If you want the next update when the fall assessment notices start going out, subscribe because this story isn't finished.